Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Thursday, December 9th, 2021. Today I'm going to do a recap of the college basketball, NBA, and NHL games from yesterday. Look ahead to everything tonight. Thursday night football, a monster game between the Steelers and the Vikings. So you have to preview and pick that. News and notes, recap last night's Group B final of the Masked Singer and my best bet of the day. We're going to start in college basketball. We will recap all the games from last night, and we will look ahead to a much smaller window for today. Chattanooga over UNC Asheville 78-73, George Washington over Coppin State 75-62, Xavier over Ball State 96-50, West Virginia over number 15 UConn 56-53. No, that's not an upset. West Virginia was favored in that game. Number 20 Florida over North Florida 85-55. Number 22, Wisconsin over Indiana, 64-59. North Alabama over Alabama A&M, 56-45. Georgia Southern over Carver College, 85-43. Stanford over Alabama State, 74-64. Western Carolina over Tennessee Tech, 74-69 in overtime. Maryland Eastern over Summit, 102-58. Robert Morris over Lancaster Bible, 99-51. Wofford over Gardner-Webb, 78-70. BU over UMass Lowell, 72-62. Marshall over Bluefield, 157. FA over Palm Beach Atlantic, 84-63. American over St. Francis, PA, 83-73, so best bet was an easy win. Delaware over Lafayette, 68-58. Penn State over Wagner, 74-54. St. Bonaventure over Loyola, Maryland, 84-71. St. Joe's over Penn, 78-71. Stony Brook over Hofstra, 79-62. Miami over Lipscomb, 76-59. VC over Jacksonville State, 66-52. Quinnipiac over Dartmouth, 72-69. Fairfield over Holy Cross, 74-59. Marist over Binghamton, 64-51. Northern Kentucky over Canisius, 75-62. St. Francis Brooklyn over St. Peter's, 71-60. Eastern Michigan over Niagara, 60-58. Youngstown State over Central Michigan, 84-77. Louisiana College over UO Monroe over Louisiana College, 89-68. Missouri State over Little Rock, 81-55. Southeast Missouri State over Evansville, 75-73. Bryant over New Hampshire, 76-59. Tarleton over Southwest Assembly of God, 81-75. Arkansas State over Arkansas Pine Bluff, 84-73. Buffalo over Western Kentucky, 77-67. SIU Edwardsville over Purdue Fort Wayne, 80-59. Colorado over Eastern Washington, 60-57. VC over Utah, 76-62. Louisiana over McNeese, 83-68. A&M Corpus Christi over Texas Rio Grande Valley, 75-69. SMU over Dayton, 77-69. Georgetown over UMBC, 171. Number 19, Michigan State over Minnesota, 75-67. 1 point cover for the Spartans. Number 21, Ohio State over Towson, 85-74. Number 24, BYU over Utah State, 82-71. Montana over Air Force, 66-48. Marquette over Kansas State, 64-63. Idaho over South Dakota State, 98-84. Southern Utah over Utah Valley, 60-56. Virginia Tech over Cornell, 93-60. Drake over Omaha, 78-70. Number 11, Arizona over Wyoming, 94-65. Long Beach State over Esteta, 102-69. Wazoo over Weber State, 94-60. UNLV over Seattle, 76-56. San Diego State over Cal State Fullerton, 66-56. Cal over Idaho State, 72-46. San Francisco over Fresno State, 71-63. And Hawaii over Hawaii Pacific, 88-52. All right, now we will look ahead to a very, very small window for a Thursday evening. First up, 6:30 Fox Sports 1, number 7 Texas, number 23 Seton Hall from Prudential Center. Huge game for sure. My projections, Seton Hall 1.5, total 135-65. Meanwhile, it's Texas 2.5, total 135.5. I'm taking Seton Hall plus the points and whatever they are to win outright. I love Seton Hall. Big spot for them. Although we all know Chris Beard in big games. Bethune-Cookman and NC State. My projections: NC State by 33, total 144-35. Meanwhile, this line is 23.5 and 138. I'm going to lay it with NC State. 7 o'clock Big Ten Network number 1, Purdue at Rutgers. My projection is Purdue by 7, total 143-45. Meanwhile, it is 12 and 139.5. I'm going to take Rutgers and the 12 at home. Carver College, NC Central, we can skip. Nichols, Mississippi Valley State. My projection is Nichols 24 and a half. I'm sorry, 24 and a quarter. Meanwhile, it is 19 and 140 and a half. So I'm going to lay it with Nichols. Detroit and Kent State, my projection is Kent by 11.5, total 135.3. Well, it's 5.5 and 137.5. I'm going to lay it with Kent State. Hampton and William and Mary, my projection is Hampton by a quarter, total 131.6. Meanwhile, it is William and Mary by 4, total 133.5. I'm taking Hampton plus the 4 and plus 146 straight up. LIU and Fordham, my projection is Fordham 8 and a quarter, total 143.55. Meanwhile, it is 6.5 and 140.5. I'm going to take the over. Asbury College, Bellarmine, and Lindsey Wilson College Southern, you can skip. 8 o'clock Colgate and Pitt. My projection is Pitt by 1 and a quarter, total 138.15. Meanwhile, it's Colgate by 3, total 137.5. I can't believe Colgate's favored at Pitt, but here we are. I'm taking Pitt plus the 3 and plus 126 straight up. 8:30 Fox Sports 1, Monmouth, St. John's. The Gotham Classic. I wonder if this game is being played at the Garden. No, it's at Karasenko Arena. My projection is St. John's by 11, total 148.9. Meanwhile, it's 9 and 152. I'm going to actually go with the under. Merrimack and Gonzaga. My projection is Gonzaga by 33 and a quarter, total 133.95. It's a 9 o'clock game. Meanwhile, it's 31 and 136.5. I'll go with another under. Cyhawk on ESPN2. Iowa at number 17, Iowa State. My projection is State by 3 quarters, total 147.7. Meanwhile, it's Iowa by 4.5, total 150.5. I'm taking State plus 4.5 and plus 160 straight up. Denver, New Mexico. My projection is New Mexico by 4 and a quarter, total 148.05. Meanwhile, it's 12.5, total 146.5. I'm taking Denver plus the points. And Grand Canyon, Arizona State. My projection is Arizona State by a quarter, total 133.4. Meanwhile, it's Arizona State by 4, total 130. I'm going to take Grand Canyon plus the 4, and I give them a chance to win at plus 146. Alrighty. Now I'll move on to the NBA. We will recap the games from last night, and we'll look ahead to a narrow window for today. 76ers over the Hornets, 110-106. Cavs over the Bulls, 115-92. Wizards over the Pistons, 119-116 in OT. Pacers over the Knicks, 122-102. Heat over the Bucks, 113-104. Thunder over the Raptors, 110-109. Rockets over the Nets, 114-104. Wow, and that's one I wasn't expecting. Mavs over the Grizzlies, 104-96. Jazz over the Timberwolves, 136-104. Nuggets over the Pelicans, 120-114 in OT. Warriors over the Blazers, 104-94. Kings over the Magic, 142-130. And the Clippers over the Celtics, 114-111. Now we look ahead to tonight, 7 o'clock NBA TV, the Jazz at the 76ers. My projections for this game, Jazz by 5, total 216-35. Meanwhile, it is Jazz 3.5 total to 17.5. So, very close all around. So, a 1.5 edge on Utah and a less than point edge on the under. So, I'm going to go a slight lean to Utah here. Next up is the Lakers at the Grizzlies. My projection is Lakers 3 3/4 total 222.95. Meanwhile, it's Lakers 3.5 total 222.5. So it's pretty much dead on, and that's accounting for the injury to John Morant. So I have a 45 of 100 edge on the over and a quarter edge on the Lakers. So my pick here is going to be a slight over. Last but not least, the Nuggets at the Spurs at 8:30. My projection is the Nuggets by a half total to 14.4 or 212.4. Meanwhile, it's Nuggets 1.5 total to 13.5. So with an edge on the Spurs by a point, and then a 1.1 edge on the under. So I'm going to go here, the slight under for my pick for this spot. And the irony is that all my projections were tight. Like, that normally doesn't happen. All right, now we'll move on to the NHL. We'll recap last night's games and look ahead to a busy window in hockey for tonight. Devils over the Flyers 3-0. Avalanche over the Rangers 7-3. Impressive win for Colorado. Canucks over the Bruins 2-1 in a shootout, and the Golden Knights over the Stars 5-4. Now we look ahead to today's busy window. 7 o'clock, you have the Lightning at the Maple Leafs. Really good game from Toronto. The Leafs are minus 140. The Lightning are plus 116. Over under 6. Overs minus 108. Unders minus 114. Lightning plus 1.5 is minus 235. Leafs minus 1.5 is plus 186. I'm going to go with the Lightning as the road dog here, plus 116. Blackhawks, Canadians. Chicago's a minus 125 road favorite. Montreal's plus 104, over under 5.5. Overs plus 110, unders minus 134. Blackhawks minus 1.5 is plus 220. Canadians plus 1.5 is minus 280. I'm going with the over at plus money here. Ducks, Blue Jackets. The Ducks are minus 106. Columbus is a favorite, minus 113, over under 5.5. Overs minus 122, unders even money. Ducks plus 1.5 is minus 300. Blue Jackets minus 1.5 is plus 235. I'm laying the minus 106 with the Ducks as a slight road underdog. Why is everybody doubting the Ducks? 7:30 Predators, Islanders. The Islanders are minus 122. The Preds are plus 102. Over under 5.5. Overs plus 122. Unders minus 150. Preds plus 1.5 is minus 280. Isles minus 1.5 is plus 220. I'm going with the Predators plus 102 as a road dog. 8 o'clock, the Red Wings and the Blues. The Blues are minus 184. The Red Wings are plus 152. Over under 6. Overs minus 112. Unders minus 108. Red Wings plus 1.5 is minus 184. Blues minus 1.5 is plus 148. The Red Wings have been playing out of their minds, but I just don't like this match here for them. So I'm going to go Blues in regulation at minus 110. Hurricanes, Flames. The Flames are minus 128. The Canes are plus 106. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 104. Unders minus 118. Canes plus 1.5 is minus 265. Flames minus 1.5 is plus 210. I'm going over 5.5 at minus 104. Bruins, Oilers. At 9 o'clock. Why don't I see the line here? Let's see if DraftKings has it. Because that's a little wild that line is not there. Oh, here we go on DraftKings. Edmonton's minus 125, Boston plus 105, over under 5.5. Overs minus 120, unders even money. Bruins plus 1.5 is minus 225. Edmonton minus 1.5 is plus 185. These two teams have kind of faltered a little of late, so a pick I like is the draw at plus 320. 10 o'clock, the Jets and the Kraken. The Jets are minus 118. The Kraken are minus 102. Over under 6. Overs minus 118. Unders minus 104. Jets minus 1.5 is plus 220. Kraken plus 1.5 is minus 280. I'm going to go over 6 minus 118. I think that's a high scoring game. 10:30 Stars Kings. We'll go to DraftKings for this one too. Stars minus 135. Kings are plus 115. Over under 5. Overs minus 115. Others minus 105. Stars plus or minus 1.5 is plus 175. Kings plus 1.5 is minus 210. This is a tough one. I kind of like the draw in this one as well at plus 310. And the Wild and the Sharks on FanDuel. Wild, they're minus 156. The Sharks are plus 130. Over under 6. Overs minus 108. Unders minus 112. Wild minus 1.5 is plus 168. Sharks plus 1.5 is minus 210. I kind of like the draw here, too. So I'm going to go with that at plus 320. So a lot of draw picks for the show today. All right, Thursday Night Football is tonight. You have the Vikings and the Steelers from Minneapolis. With Danielle Hunter, Everson Griffin, and now Adam Thielen out. My projection, let's see here. Says that Mark Thielen is out. My projection now goes to Pittsburgh by a half, total 47-6. And Minnesota is actually a favorite in this game by 3. And the total is 43.5. There's a lot of ways I can go here. I have a 4.1 edge on the over. And I have a 3.5 edge on the Steelers. So, this is tough because of the injuries, but the injuries on defense is going to hurt Minnie. But the loss of Thielen on offense is going to hurt Minnie too. And Dalvin Cook is playing, so that's good news for their offense. So, I'm going to go with my gut here and go with my numbers and pick the over as the podcast play, but I also really, really like the Steelers plus the 3 and plus 144 on the money line. I might just do Steelers money line and the over as a same game parlay to see how that would come out. So I'm going to say Pittsburgh wins outright as the dog, and I'm going to say they win like 27-24 or something like that. I think it's going to be a good game tonight. I really, really do. I think Minnesota's going to come close, but they'll do what they always do, find ways to lose. All right, now I'm going to do news and notes for today. First thing I wanted to get to was that Tiger Woods says he's back as he'll enter the PNC Championship with his son December 18th through the 19th in Orlando. So that's amazing. That's like the big news that I wanted to get to because it's Tiger Woods. Obviously had the accident earlier in the year and he really hasn't been heard from much, and just glad to see him back out on the golf course. He is the best golfer in my lifetime, and it's just awesome to see him playing golf again. The Texans cut Zach Cunningham after he was inactive last week for being late for his COVID-19 test. Yikes. Forbes came out with their most valuable hockey teams list, and the number one team, the New York Rangers. I mean, you could just pencil in the Rangers yearly for this, or the Canadians, or the Blackhawks. Atlanta Hawks confirmed that Solomon Hill is out for the season with a hamstring tear, so that's a veteran guy on the Hawks that contributed and really was a leader in the locker room with that team. It's a big loss, from a leadership standpoint for the Hawks, and a bench standpoint too. LSU had a $125 million deal for Jimbo Fisher, as they were prepared to offer that to Jimbo in late November to coach the Tigers. So that would have been wild, him leaving Texas A&M for LSU. That would have been as even as a deal as Brian Kelly. Damian Lillard says he's not asking for a trade, as he says that shit is not accurate, he says. We'll prove it and sign a contract extension. Russell Wilson, obviously, is somebody that's going to be on the trade block this offseason. It seems that he would play for Giants, Saints, and Broncos, according to Jordan Schultz. I think the Saints are easily the best fit. They would instantly become a Super Bowl contender. I think Denver would become a borderline contender. And I think the Giants would be similar to the situation he's in Seattle. Not a contender, but close with the right pieces around him. Like a better offensive line. If he goes to the Giants, he'll be in a similar situation that he is in now with Seattle, if not potentially worse from an organization standpoint. But who knows? Maybe they'll have a new GM and a new coach, and it'll be a little bit more promising there than it is now. But the easy best fit for him is New Orleans Saints with Sean Payton. That would bring that team back to a Super Bowl contender after this 1 year of Jameis Winston. The Lions, amazingly enough, still have playoff hope. After their first win on Sunday, they still have a chance, but a very, very slim to none chance. But that's wild. And that shows you how weak the NFC is after your obvious top 5 or 6. So it's Dallas, Green Bay, Tampa, Cardinals. That's your easy top 4. And then you'd say Rams. And then who else really? Those last 2 spots in the NFC are wide open. Could go to Philly and Washington. And then the NFC East would have 3 in the playoffs, which would be really wild. And that, I think, is the worst, potentially the worst division in the league. But I guess it's not. Because obviously the Jaguars and the Texans reside in the AFC South. So I guess the AFC South's still worse. The AFC East is good with the exception of the Jets. So that's kind of wild to think of 3 of the 4 NFC East teams are in the postseason. The Arizona Coyotes might get locked out as the city of Glendale is threatening to lock Coyotes out of Gila River Arena due to unpaid bills and charges. Jeez, that's the messiest franchise in sports right now, I'd say. I mean, if you're locked out of your arena, then you're automatically the worst franchise in sports for the time being. Ezekiel Elliott won't need knee surgery, so that's good. So coming back for the Saints on Sunday are Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara, so that's good news for them. We talked about Adam Thielen getting ruled out for tonight, and Dalvin Cook will be back. Someone else that's out for the season is Washington's Logan Thomas. due to a knee injury. That's unfortunate. He was playing really well for them. And then Justin Fields back for the Bears game against the Packers, so that's good news. So Buck Showalter had a Zoom interview with the Mets yesterday, and apparently the Mets were impressed. They said really well. They were pretty impressed, they said. So yesterday was obviously James Harden's return to Houston. That's something that we just forgot to talk about. They played him his own tribute video. I mean, that's the right thing to do. I mean, he's still going to get booed because he demanded a trade, but just have your minute of fame and do the what the Rockets did there. That was nice. The Timberwolves don't respect Rudy Gobert. Anthony Edwards and Patrick Beverley didn't hold back about Gobert after the blowout loss. He don't put no fear in my heart. Yikes. All right, now we'll recap last night's episode of The Masked Singer. It was the Group B final. Fun show. Going first was Banana Split. They were hints about a movie theater, a brain freeze sign, which was weird. There was the Windy City was in there. There was a car. And then it kind of showed off in this clue package that they are a couple. And they performed Singing in the Rain by Arthur Freed, which was really cute. Well, Split did. Banana didn't. And then the special clue of the week was the cannon clue. And they call it the Nick Cannon, where they shoot it out. And then it was like a connection to every panelist. And this one was for Nicole. And the common clue was the Garden t-shirt. I mean, did they perform at Madison Square Garden together? She threw out David Foster and Andrea Bocelli. Ken Jeong said Kat McPhee and David Foster. Nicole Goodman said Jeff Goldblum and his wife, Emily. Or I'm sorry, Jenny did. And then the celebrity bestie they popped up was Dr. Phil. And by the way, my guests, Jessie J and Luke James. And then Queen of Hearts went second. In terms of the solo performances, there's a Vanity, a $5 bill, a rainbow, a traffic light, a red devil. And she performed Bird Set Free by Sia. The canon clue was to Ken Jeong. There was a red shirt that said Wrestle with a Heart. There's a heart, and then there was wrestling going on. This is a tough one because I think there are so many potential candidates for this, but I'm going to settle on Kristen Chenoweth for now. The clue package kind of added up to her a little bit in terms of there's like a devil, and obviously she was Glinda in Wicked. And then there's a tea party, Rainbow, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Wizard of Oz and Wicked are kind of connected in some way. So we'll go with, from a clue standpoint, Kristen Chenoweth. And then she actually sounded like her in her performance this week as well. Ken Jeong said Christina Aguilera. And Nicole Scherzinger threw out Jewel as a possibility. Banana Split and Robin Thicke did a performance together to Don't You Worry About a Thing by Stevie Wonder, which was pretty good. And then Queen of Hearts performed Nicole, and they sang Dream On by Aerosmith. And who went home this week? Banana Split. So, my first impression guess for Banana Split was Carrie Underwood and Brad Paisley. And my final guess for Banana Split, Jessie J. Luke James. Robin Thicke's first impression, he said Jennifer Nettles and that other guy. The things these panelists write are just so funny. And Robin's final was Ryan Tenner and Leona Lewis. And then Ken Jeong, Jenny McCarthy, and Nicole Scherzinger's first impression guesses were Katharine McPhee and David Foster, and that was their final guesses as well. And who was it? Those three were right. Kat McPhee and David Foster. Kat, obviously, the Idol runner-up back in 2006 to Taylor Hicks. Fun fact, 2 people from that season were on The Masked Singer, her and Chris Daughtry. Daughtry, obviously, was the Rottweiler. David Foster is the husband of McPhee. He's a producer. And obviously, singing isn't really his forte, and it's Kat's forte. And good on Masked Singer to get a big name in there, and McPhee. So, obviously, now in the finale, you have Queen of Hearts and Bull. I think this is the best finale that we've had, and this is the first time that they're obviously going to go with 2 in the finale rather than 3. And it's a really good duo. I think that Bull has an excellent chance to win. He has a lot of energy. Obviously, Queen of Hearts has the strong vocals. So it's going to be interesting, and I'm looking forward to next week's show for sure. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. I'm going to go in college basketball for this one, and I'm going to go to Cyhawk, and I'm going to take Iowa State, getting to 4.5 at home against Iowa. I just think that this is the Cyclones' time to shine. They're undefeated. Getting an undefeated team as an underdog is really cool. So, Iowa plus the 4.5 against Iowa. All right, so there you have it for today's show. We'll be back tomorrow recapping everything from today, looking ahead to everything for tomorrow and the weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, best bet and Fab 5 for the NFL will be on the show, and Army-Navy too. So the only Fab 5 we have is now is the NFL because college is done, and we'll just give out big picks for all the bowl games as they approach, as well as Army-Navy for tomorrow. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.